Race in skiing. Skiing has been a predominantly white sport since the first ski area opened in Colorado a little bit over 100 years ago. Although you'd like to think that the sport is enjoyed by people from all walks of life, the ski community has been disproportionately white, and the trend towards diversification has been slow, if not flat, in recent years. The social justice movement, Black Lives Matter, has been on people's minds and in the news lately. So I picked this topic because I saw it as a good opportunity to educate myself through my research and other people through my presentation. There are many reasons why the community has been slow to diversify, and I'm going to explore the causes behind this phenomenon by talking a little bit about the history of the sport and then diving deeper into the different socioeconomic factors. For a sport that has such a long history and widespread participation in every mountainous part of the country, skiing has been very slow to diversify. It's such an exclusive sport because there are many barriers in the way of it becoming more inclusive. Socioeconomics and demographics and our changing climate all play into why the community has been slow to become diverse. Race is represented in skiing in different ways, but one way to easily get a sense for how minorities exist in the sport is through media platforms that photograph skiers to advertise their gear and media outlets that are the spokespeople for the sport. Skiing is a sport that has been around for a long time, and the participation of minorities has been shaky. Although it's true that resort skiing has been around for about 100 years in the US, according to the International Skiing History Association, the sport has actually been around for thousands of years, dating back to over 7,000 years ago in Scandinavia, where it was used mainly for practicality. With snow on the ground for much of the year, the ancient Scandinavians used skis as a method of transportation. According to the International Skiing History Association, the number of black skiers is up from decades ago, but in recent years they have decreased down to where they were in 2003. In 2003, the number of black skiers made up roughly 5% of the skier community, while they made up 12% of the population of the US at that time. Since 2003, the numbers rose and then fell once again to 5%, where it sits now. There are many barriers in the way of skiing becoming a more diverse sport. Two of the main barriers are socioeconomic and demographic related. According to the Economic Policy Institute, the median family income for black families in the U.S. is $46,000 a year. And according to the International Skiing Association, 60% of skiers and snowboarders have an income of over $100,000 annually. Income inequality has the potential to be a large factor in why not as many black people participate in skiing. The average income of a black person with a bachelor's degree is lower than that of a white person with the same level of education. When people have to travel far away to ski, and they do not live within day trip distance from the nearest ski area, there is more cost built into each ski day. When participating in skiing means traveling out of state, where you might have to drive or fly to a mountainous place, there is added transportation cost. Traveling out of state or far away has the added financial cost of having to stay overnight somewhere to be able to access the ski area. Whereas people who live in places where skiing is accessible, they don't have those very costly added expenses. According to the Geographical Research Letters, the amount of snow in the western United States has dropped by 41% since the early 1980s. As a result, ski seasons have gotten 34 days shorter. The shrinking in the amount of days of operation causes smaller ski hills to struggle and then close their doors. It is this proximity issue that serves as a big reason for why certain demographics are prevented from skiing. The disappearance of those small ski hills near cities limit the access of those living in inner cities, which disproportionately affects Black and Hispanic people, and serves as the main barrier to participation amongst those people. Representation of minorities in different ski media outlets is generally accurately reflective of how they exist in the sport itself. There are many different ski media outlets in the ski industry, which is a $20 billion a year industry. The industry rakes in a huge amount of money each year, which makes sense given all the expenses built into the sport, like gear, car accessories, clothing, lift tickets, season passes, and even lifestyle brands. Since people of color don't participate in the sport at the same rates that non-minorities do, they aren't benefiting from the wide job market that provides all of these goods and services. I'm now going to show you guys a short clip from a video called REI presents the Brotherhood of Skiing, which helps to explain the barriers of the sport from the perspective of people who are actually living the experience.
This is 1973. It was just after the Black Power movement.
When we first came together, it was the challenge of being alone on the mountain as a person of color by yourself. And that's why they all came together 45 years ago.
I think at that time there were 3 or 4 ski clubs in Chicago, and there were at least 2 ski clubs in Los Angeles. There was a need for us to move in groups, and it may have provided a safe feeling. We decided, gee, it would be nice if we could get all these ski clubs together, and we'll invade Aspen, Colorado. We did not know how this grouping, this gathering was going to be accepted in Aspen. And then I think 10 days before the event started, we sent the Aspen newspaper a press release saying black folks were coming to town.
Skiing has been around for a very long time. Even so, social and economic disadvantages hold back a very large group of people from participating in skiing. Although to some people this issue may seem like it's not a big deal, it is important to explore why things are the way they are. In this case, the facts and history tell a complicated story about race in America.